Alright, what is going on, everybody? This is Trudger MC, and today I have a different kind of review for you. This time I'm reviewing a Marvel Select figure from Diamond Select Toys. This is Spider-Man, the Special Collector Edition action figure, aka this guy, Spider-Man with the broken car. So, this is my first ever Marvel Select figure, and I'm gonna be honest here, like, in terms of, like, should you get this as a first Marvel Select figure? I would say yes. I as of right now, I don't have any other figures from that line that I can compare, but I would say that this is still really solid for what it is. He definitely looks good. He reminds me a lot of, sort of the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man, not fully that, but it reminds me of that. And it also reminds me of that, 2012 Spider-Man Lego minifigure that they released in like every single set ever. So yeah, he looks pretty good. In case you're wondering, Marvel Select compared to like McFarlane DC Multiverse, I'd say that that's a pretty good size comparison. There they are, like feet around in the same spot. There's how they look up against each other. I'd say that's pretty good. If you're wondering how tall he is, we are, well, it would make sense if I did this. So to the bottom of his foot there, to the top of his head, looks like he is, hold on. Yeah, it looks like looks to be about 7, let's just say pretty much like 7 inches, give or take, just about. And then for centimeters, to the bottom of his foot there, to the top of his head, he is about 18 centimeters, give or take. So, here is Spider-Man, the Special Collector Edition action figure. Now, this, I will say right now, this isn't fully a super articulated action figure. He doesn't have a whole lot of articulation, but I'd say that he does definitely have the look that's appropriate for Spider-Man. The painting on mine isn't the best, but I think that it still works. Like, you can tell exactly who this is supposed to be, and I think that works really well. So, there's his head. I like the way that his eyes are done. I think that looks really good. I really like the webbing, again, even though it's not perfect on mine. I think that it still looks really good. I really like the red, and I also like how it has, like, some dark red on here. Some people might not like that, but I think it looks really cool. I like how it adds kind of, like, shading and shadows and whatnot. I really like the spider logo on his chest there. It's not super clean, like these arms aren't even connected to the body, but it's all good. Like, if you look at it from a distance, you're not going to see it. And then the spider on his back, it's pretty good. Not the best, but I am okay with that. And then his shoulders, I'd say that this part of the aesthetic doesn't look very good, is that the shoulders, this red is clearly a different color than the rest of his suit, and then you also see, like, some blue underneath that. But what you can do is you can have his arm go up like that. Now you can't really see that. And it's the same kind of thing on this side. There's a little bit more blue over here, but again, you just bring the arms up, and now you can't see that. And if you wanted to try to recreate the Spider-Man 2 scene of him trying to stop the train, you could kind of do that. He doesn't actually come with alternate hands. He just comes with a thwip hand on this side and then a fist hand on this side, but I think that's okay. Y'all will see what he does come with later on. And yeah, so his torso, he doesn't really have any sculpted musculature or anything like that, especially not not compared to something like this where you have like every muscle ever. Um, but he does have some good detail for the leg muscles there, I would say. The arms look pretty good. I don't know the most about anatomy in the world, but I think it looks pretty good. His feet look good. Yeah, overall, I'd say that he looks really good. Um, and then as far as articulation is concerned, again, he's not the most articulated thing in the world, but it does work. So he can turn his head around like that. Then he can move it up like a little bit, and he can move it down a little bit, but like, you know, it's not a whole lot of movement. But I think that's okay. And then for the arms, they can go up about that far, and then they can turn all the way around like so. And then he doesn't have a bicep swivel. He does have a single jointed elbow, which looks kind of weird when you move it. And it can swivel a very small amount, but it's all good. And then the wrists, they don't have a hinge or anything like that, but they can rotate. So there's that. And then for the torso, there's no diaphragm joint or anything like that. It's just down here at the waist. So he can turn around like that, which doesn't look the best if you have it like that, because there's some, it doesn't really line up and thing, but whatever, it's all good. And then for the legs, they go out that far, which for Spider-Man, that's kind of bad, but it's all good. Because the way that this figure, he came with a broken car, and so he can be standing on that. But yeah, his legs can go, just having them go straight up, they go about that far. And then if you want to try to bend them, like have them go out that way a little bit, then they go out that far. So that's pretty good. And then for going out, just straight back, not going to the Outback, Outback Steakhouse, but yeah, so he just going back, like just straight back, it's that far. And then if you bend them a little bit, like going out that way, they go out that far. And I think that's pretty good. It's not going the splits this way, but it is going, that way. I think that's pretty good. So I'd say the first Spider-Man, that's okay. So you could definitely be, doing the splits and thwipping away at the same time. So that's pretty cool. And then for the knees, it's a single joint. And again, like the elbows, it looks kind of weird. And there's more rotation with the knees than there was with the elbows. So they go so they can turn. Oh my goodness, they can turn all the way around. Oh no, I just broke Spider-Man's leg. Oh no. Let's fix that. There we go. I have broken a leg before, and I do not recommend that. So, yeah. And then lastly, for the ankles, they can just kind of turn, they can go back that far, they can go forward that far, and there's no toe articulation. But what I do like is that compared to McFarlane with their ratcheted joints, where it's, they can go forward that far, but it's a little, it's a little stiff and ratchet. So that's as far forward, or just straight down. And then going forward, it's you can have that or you can have that, there's no in between. Whereas with Spider-Man here, Spider-Man, he can really, you can have it go that far, or you can have it go a little bit forward, and you can stop right there. So I like that, and I think that's pretty cool. So overall, his articulation, it's not the best, especially for a Spider-Man figure, because this guy's supposed to be super duper flexible and doing all sorts of acrobatic stuff, especially if you're trying to do a Todd McFarlane type pose. I would say that this is probably as close as you can get to that really cool pose with Spider-Man, where he's jumping out of the window. He's going out like that. It's not really that close, but yeah, anyway. So yeah, but I think that overall his articulation, for what it is, where it's essentially, I wouldn't really call it, a statue, but I also wouldn't call it a super articulated action figure or anything like that. It's just kind of middle ground, and I think for what that is, it's pretty cool. It also reminds me, I don't know who made it, but I had this Tobey Maguire Spider-Man action figure, and essentially he had very little articulation. He was basically stuck like this. So his arms were like that, his legs were like that, and you couldn't move them. But what you could do is you could rotate the legs like that, and you could rotate the arms like that, and you could move his head, and that was it. So I would say compared to that, again, I don't know who made that, but compared to that, I'd say this is a lot better. But definitely not McFarlane or, anything like that in terms of articulation. But I think it works. So then as far as what he comes with, I've talked about a few times now, he comes with a broken green car. And now all we need is for them to make a Wolverine action figure. I know that Marvel Select has made a Wolverine figure before, but what they need to do is they need to make a Wolverine figure that has this exact same car, but it's fixed. And some of you might get that reference. There's nothing really on the bottom there. It's just kind of hollow plastic, but I do like the details with the headlights and the windshield and all of that. This car, I could imagine that some supervillain with super strength took it and was take this, Spider-Man, rah! And threw the car at him. But it does, if you notice, it does have peg holes there. And Spider-Man does have, or peg hole. These are the peg holes. These are the actual pegs. And so what you can do is you can stand Spider-Man on that, like that. And then you could come up with some sort of pose. But yeah, he fits on there pretty nicely. He's not really going to move anywhere. I like that it has two of them. So that you could have him standing on, or what you could do is you could have him on it, and you could have somebody else on there too. So you could have Spider-Man be thwipping, and they could also have Batman. That's just kind of here, like so. Where are the? Yeah, that's right, back here. Yeah, so there we go. Now we have Spider-Man and Batman together. Sure. But yeah, you could totally do that, and yeah. So really the only other thing that he comes with is this thing, which says that this is a Marvel licensed product from Diamond Select Toys. And it has a little catalog here for some other figures that you can get. What I think is interesting is that they have this picture which has a lot of Marvel characters that they haven't yet made into Marvel Select figures. And I'm going to be honest, I think a Kamala Khan would be really cool if they had it in style like that, and if she came with alternate hands that are like really big or something like that. I think that would be really cool. And they got Nova and some other characters on there that they haven't made yet, which I think is interesting. Maybe they're trying to do that. And then for the box, this is again my first Marvel Select figure, so I wasn't really expecting, I didn't really know what to expect with the box, but this thing is huge. Definitely has more than enough space for Spider-Man, but yeah, there's the special collector edition action figure thing. You got some artwork on there, and then on the side there's Spider-Man, and then here's some really cool artwork. If you don't know who Spider-Man is, that gives you an idea. And then it shows some comic art, and then it shows that. And yeah, not really a whole lot else going on. But yeah, so in conclusion, would I recommend this figure? I would say yes. Unless you're looking for something that is, if you're looking for something that has a ton of articulation and can be like, can recreate, like so many of the iconic, like Todd McFarlane, like Spider-Man poses, then this isn't really the one for you. But if you're just looking for a good-looking Spider-Man action figure, or really just a Spider-Man that could work with your McFarlane DC Multiverse figures, I would say this one is definitely worth picking up, especially because it's $35, and he comes with, like 35, 30, something like that. But it comes with, a broken car, and he doesn't come with alternate hands or webs or anything like that, so I would say that might be a turnoff for you too. But I would say that in conclusion, like, I think it's a good figure. I think it's worth picking up, and yeah, stay tuned for potentially more Marvel Select action figure reviews. I don't really know what to expect fully, but I'm interested. Based on this, I'd say that it would be good. And yeah, if you enjoyed this review, then do be sure to leave a like and all that other stuff. And yeah, I guess that's about it. So I will see you all later. Goodbye.